How you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. I'm gonna be doing 2 reviews back to back. So I'm about to do the VH1 Couples Retreat Season 1 Episode 4 Miss 6 Cents review, and I'm gonna do the Married to Medicine Season 8 Episode 10 Ain't No Party Like a Self-Love Party reviews. I'm not doing Real Housewives of Atlanta because I felt like Bravo was trying to punish us with all this, with the 3-part reunion. I know that some of you said, please go ahead and do it. But I can't do that. I'm sorry. It was a struggle watching the last hour, and I felt like this entire season was a hot ass mess. They need to go on and bring back Phaedra, bring back Nene, bring back Sheree Hale, bring back Kim's ass, since her show Tardy for the Damn Party that, to my surprise, lasted for 8 seasons. Who the hell's watching that shit? They need to go on and bring her ass back on that show so we can have a season that's worth a damn, because I'm tired of seeing what they're doing here. This season was a hot ass mess. It was not. Drew needs to go on and just go. I'm just not doing it. Now, for the couples retreat, it titled Miss 6 Cents, right? So basically, Yandy and I'm gonna skip some scenes that don't need to be discussed, so it's gonna be short and sweet. Yandy decided to go on and bring Miss 6 Cents in as a guest. Aside from having AJ, I guess, come up with something they're gonna do for that day, she brought in this person who's supposed to be a minister and a medium. I'm like, what the fuck kind of mixture is that? That's somebody that you find in Hogwarts. Ain't no way you find a minister and medium all combined in one. I've never seen such a thing, but it is what it is. She came and she decides to give, she decides that she wants to give everybody a little bit of a breakdown on what she does. She said that she does not talk to dead people, that she does not talk to ghosts, that she talks to energies, essentially spirits is how I took it. But she hears them. She doesn't talk to them, she hears them, and she now relates whatever it is that she's hearing based on what she's picking up out in the universe. Now, before she starts, we can see that Ray J and Princess are finally fucking, because we can tell that they're, a lot happier. I already said that what's missing their marriage is a lot of, some sex, because they have been separated for a while since the little petty ass divorce they kept showing up on TMZ. They need some ass. I mean, ass usually kind of lightens up the mood sometimes in the marriage, what helps you discuss certain things. Somebody needs to initiate it. But now they're holding hands, they're coming out smiling. It seems like they both finally admitted to each other that they don't want to break up, so they're not willing to put in some kind of effort. Then prior to this, Rashida's dumbass is over here gassing Kirk's little ass up, talking about, I was so happy that you took me out on a date. It was a fun night. You did your best, and you worked me out last night. Gave me that little daddy experience. Whatever the hell she was talking about, I was looking at her like, Rashida's so dumb. Rashida is what I would classify as a dumb blonde. That little metaphor where you see somebody who's beautiful on the outside, but she's just dumb. You're sitting up here gassing up a man who last episode made it seem like it was your fault that he cheated on your ass, and the one effort he's made, you need to give him encouragement, but not to this extreme that you're doing. He needs to do this multiple times to make up for all the shit he put you through. He put you through on national television. We saw everything play out, girl. So slow that roll, calm that down, let him get up there. Don't gas him up for this one thing that he did. He needs to put in a lot more effort and stop blaming you for shit. Then I'm gonna get to the, the 6 Cents medium thing. We know that Michael Blackson and Ryder don't believe in this, so they were over there making fun of it in the corner. Then we have Ray J. We know clearly doesn't believe in this type of situation. Princess says she has an open mind, she's gonna listen. Personally, I don't have an open mind to this type of shit. Just like, this is the one thing Michael and Blackson and I have in common. We are both Africans, and as Africans, we understand what voodoo is. We know that we have voodoo priests and priestesses. We know that we have people who are out there trying to stick pins in dolls. We know that people try to put curses on you and stuff like that. We know that people in Nigeria particularly go to witch doctors to try and sacrifice somebody to make him get rich. I remember when I was a child, and there was something called the 7 deaths, 7 killings, where there were actually children being kidnapped, and people are saying that they're finding their body parts all over the place because they're sacrificing them for people who wanted to get rich quick, and they do shit like this. In particular, there was one I know in South Africa. There's people called the Sangoma, and Sangomas are like basically witch doctors. And I know that there was a documentary that I watched where in a South African location called Deep Street, the guy was doing a documentary. There was that area has a huge rape epidemic, and HIV just widespread because of that. That's the consequence of that. And a lot of people who get HIV/AIDS end up going to the witch doctors, the sangomas, to help them figure out how they can get rid of the disease the witchy way. And these sangomas were actually encouraging these people to go and rape virgin children, saying that that's going to be the way that they go ahead and they're going to get them, the HIV is going to go. So there's a lot of these types of shit that happen. And for me, I particularly don't open myself up to that type of energy. Yes, mediums exist. Yes, we have some that are actually mediums and some that are just fraudulent people like Cleo. Now we remember Cleo, calling me now, you know, that nonsense that happened years ago. But I personally don't open myself up to it. But she starts talking and she starts off with saying that she looks at Kirk and Rashida and she says something like, did somebody recently pass away who's like a mother or a grandmother to you? And I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, bitch, that was on TV a few seasons ago when Kirk's mama died and he was over there crying on Rashida's shoulder, even though they were going through some kind of cheating ordeal. It was announced that his mama died. So did you see it on the news, or are you really hearing this person? But then she continues and she says that she's speaking to her and apparently they must have lost a child and that child is with her or with the mother or whatever. And Rashida takes this very personally. She starts crying. She gets up and walks away. And Kirk, who she was just gassing up a few hours ago on how great of a man he is, sits there for a cool minute before he actually goes to check on his wife who's breaking down. And when he does go up to her, he says, you need to calm down. Don't get so emotional. I said, Kirk, shut the fuck up. What kind of man is this? What kind of individual is this? I do not like Kirk. Let me say it again. I do not like Kirk. I just don't like the way that he moves. I don't care. That's how I feel. I'm gonna be honest with it. It's just, my husband would never do that. If I'm breaking down because somebody just told me that I lost the baby, the last thing he's gonna do is, first of all, sit there and watch me walk away in tears and not come and check on me for a cool minute. Then when he comes, he's telling me stop being dramatic, or not stop being dramatic, don't let it get to you. He's going, you know, comfort me and say it's gonna be okay, let it out, you know, because this is something that's personal. I just can't stand him. The way that he moves, it's just, I don't understand it. Then while she's talking about it, Princess starts crying. Obviously, everybody in the group can see that Princess is also probably has some similar experience, because she's also crying as if it's her experience. Princess in her confessional tells us that she had a miscarriage at 8 weeks. And she felt it. She blocked it off in her mind. It wasn't with Ray J. It was a previous relationship. And because of that miscarriage, she felt like she couldn't have children. Similar to what I'm feeling, or what I felt when I had the miscarriage. I felt for a while, what if I can't do it? Is this going to be a thing? First of all, I thought I couldn't get pregnant after the whole fibroids ordeal that happened to me. That I finally got pregnant after trying for like 6 months, timing everything, taking the ovulation test, doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, making sure that we get it at the peak moment, and nothing was happening. Finally, when I did get pregnant, and I'm eating right, not drinking, I'm eating salads, and salads is just not my thing, but I'm eating it, you know, taking vitamins, trying to make sure I'm doing the right thing, and then I end up, you know, with this situation happening. So for me, I felt what she felt. However, the medium now takes this opportunity to say that she's feeling something coming from her. I said, bitch, we all feel something coming from her, child. She's crying after you mentioned something about miscarriage. Just not take an energy to see this. For me, I'm watching it happen in real life. Not energy. I can see the person in front of my face. But Princess now discloses what happens. And she asked, was in this relationship? She said no. Princess said no. And then she goes on to say something like, that child has been reincarnated. That spirit has been reincarnated in her second child. And I'm like, bitch. The way that I interpreted when she said that, because like I said before, these are not the type of things that I particularly believe in, and that's just how I feel. I don't open myself to those type of things. I don't think that I just don't, for me, because I feel like I'm not going to open up my spirit to that type of energy. But when she said that, the only thing that ran through my head is, are you trying to say that the baby that Princess was carrying from a different man is now manifested in Ray J's baby? That's how I interpreted it in my head. So it wasn't for me. But Ray J is obviously feeling some type of way, because that's his baby. You trying to tell me that I'm taking care of somebody else's baby that looks like mine, whose spirit is not my own? Like, he's taking it very personally, obviously, because he's looking at this thing like this is a shit show type situation. Then, I guess in between that mess, she must have noticed that Rada and Michael are just laughing and giggling, kikiing about her and just making a joke out of the whole ordeal. So she pulls them aside and says she wants to talk to them privately. In that conversation, she says that she's feeling something, you know, some big energy or something happening. Is there a baby in this circumstance? And Michael discloses to us, away from the group, that Rada is carrying a child. And Rada decides to lie to us, including Michael, saying that nobody in this group knows. I said, bitch, bye. Because the first episode that came on, Rashida and Yandy kept repeating, y'all gonna have some cute babies. Y'all gonna have some cute babies. And I'm sitting there talking about, where are the cuteness gonna come from? Because I'm looking at Michael Blackson, where everything in my from how I perceive it, it's crafted a certain way. You know, it's animated in a sense, his features, the way that I perceive them. And Rada to me is not what my idea of drop dead gorgeous is gonna be. Yes, they can have a beautiful child because, you know, all children are beautiful in their own way, but they were gassing them up as to, you know, y'all gonna have some pretty cute babies because the whole light skin, dark skin, you know, ideology. And now she's over here lying to us saying that nobody knew she was pregnant. I don't believe that for a second because of how that happened in the first episode. I just don't. Then Rada tells us in the confessional that this is why she felt like she needs to work harder to try and build a relationship with Michael, because she's now pregnant and she feels like everything happens for a reason. And, you know, that's why she wants him to change and only be with her, because she's not considering that she wants a family dynamic, not a situationship where he has a different girl in the house. And he don't want her child to be basically growing up seeing all these different women run in and out of daddy's bedroom and mommy's bedroom and not know who her actual parent is or his actual mama is. Which is it? Because all y'all just up there sleeping with daddy. Now, the way that I interpret it is Michael initially, before we had the Sixth Sense ordeal happen, said that he is not willing to change and that he's gonna stand firm on his stance, that he don't want to lose Rada, but he's not willing to change for her. But at the same time, Michael's saying that he wants to be a great father. And I'm thinking, Michael, how are you going to instill values in a child if you don't value yourself or the mother? That makes no sense, because when you're sleeping with multiple people, in addition to the mother of your child, you don't respect her, and that's just a fact. That's just what it is. But now you now have a child coming into this world that you're supposed to instill values and morals into. It's a contradiction. You're a walking contradiction. Then Rada says something like in her video in early in the episode that she doesn't want this to be a situation to where Michael learns his lesson based on, you know, you don't know what you got until you lose it, and she don't want to be the one to leave. I said, bitch, bye. You left before and you came back. Michael is convinced in his head, because Michael Blackson, to be a comedian, you have to be highly intelligent, and he's aware that your ass didn't leave. You left and you came back. So, and you've been around this whole time when he's been screwing all these different girls. Hell, you've been a participant in some of them. So now he knows that what you're willing to do and how far you're willing to go. You'd already pushed all the limits. He already knows that you're going to stay regardless of what he does. You're going to cry about it, but your ass is going to stay. So you put yourself in this situation. You got two choices. You can walk away and start over, or you can just accept the reality of your situation. That man is not going to change. Then they leave that little situation. It was then we get to Delicious and Raymond's segment. And Delicious in her video says that, you know, once you get I do, it turns into they don't. And she's blaming Raymond because they were supposed to be knocking the boots after the date last episode, and he came into the room and fell asleep, so she didn't get that ass tapped. So she's feeling some type of way because she's highly sexual. She has that sexual image she puts out on Instagram, but it's also her real life. Raymond is in his 50s, in his 40s, or approaching his 50s, girl. He's not gonna perform the way that he performed when he was younger, and he's a little bit thicker. So girl, I don't know what you expecting, a magician, but Raymond is behaving his age. He's behaving his time. He looks like he's been worn down by life. You know what I'm saying? And you want him to behave like he's in his 20s. I know y'all are newlyweds, but you got to be reasonable. You feel me? So AJ goes to talk to Raymond by himself, away from the group, because she doesn't want to embarrass him when she brings up his manhood. And for me, the resounding conclusion that I got out of it is, to a certain extent, Raymond is intimidated by Delicious's strength and prowess, and the fact that she's dominant in her spirit. Some men are not strong enough to handle a dominant woman. I've been in that situation to where I've been with a guy and he's trying to dim my light, not because there's something wrong with me, but because he's not strong enough to handle somebody like me. Then I've had a dude at my job actually tell me that he personally does not like strong women. He wants timid women, because he wants people that the submission in him, in the way he interprets it, is women who don't really speak their mind. He doesn't like outspoken people. Then I met my finance man, who's as strong as hell and who knows how to handle me, who can handle all this, okay, including my mouth and my spirit and my dominance and my strength, because he's a real man and he knows how to handle a woman. Raymond strikes me as the type of person that may not be able to handle Delicious. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean like handle her in the sense of pimping her like, you know, bitch, you need to stay in your place. Not like that. But there's strong men who can handle a strong woman. There are men like that. They are confident in themselves. those are the type of men I met. They know that there are men. They know that they're heterosexual in their mindset and in the way that they're built. And they know that if they want a woman and that's who they want to be with, they know how to handle her. You know what I'm saying? Strong or not. And it's not in an abusive way. It's not in a condescending way. It's not in a you're beneath me way. It's just the way that it's just the way that they talk to you sometimes. You just know. And I feel like Raymond is intimidated by Delicious, and Delicious is a strong personality. I mean, she just tells it like it is, like I do. Shit. Now, AJ decides to talk to Raymond and say that, and discuss the lack of dick in their relationship, saying that she wanted to discuss with him because she knows that as age goes by, the sex part starts to wane. It was a nice way of not saying you might need Viagra to help you sometimes, bruh. But he decides to basically put it off on Delicious and blame her, which is what I was just talking to my husband about, that it seems like a lot of men have a deep-rooted sense of Adam syndrome is what I call it, the Adam syndrome. Because if y'all remember, if we go back to the biblical sense of things in Genesis, when Adam made the choice to eat the apple, and Eve, after Eve then eat the apple and told him that he needs to go and eat it. When he was asked by the Most High, hey, why did you eat the apple? The first thing he did was blame Eve. The woman you sent me, is the one who coerced me to doing this. And my husband tends to blame me a lot of times, even sometimes when I don't do nothing. It's just his mindset is to throw off the blame. He doesn't mean it in a bad way. It's just that's like the natural instinct. And I've seen that in a lot of men, even prior to my husband, that the instinct is to blame the woman. And of course, we're sitting here and Raymond has the Adam syndrome, because he's sitting up here and the first thing he does when AJ's talking to him about his lack of hard on in the marriage, the first thing he says is Delicious has OCD. And I'm like, what does her having OCD have to do with you holding your penis hostage in this marriage? I don't understand. How does her having OCD affect you tapping her ass? I don't care if she has OCD and she's rearranging the damn kitchen. While she's rearranging that kitchen, you can bend her over in that kitchen, have her hold the salt in one hand, the pepper in the other hand. You just tear that ass up and she can keep rearranging after you've done. I don't understand how those two correlate. But he said something in the way of saying that Delicious changes her mind a lot. One day she wants this, the other day she wants this. I don't know if he was referring to money and him feeling the pressure as a man of having to provide for her whenever she asks for stuff, which I said in my first review that it's good to know that he has money from, the prison situation, that the ordeal of him being accused for a crime he didn't commit and spending years behind bars. He got a big payout out of that, and Delicious picked his ass up, right after he was, as soon as he got available. Now he might be feeling like he has to provide for her in that way because that's the image that she might have of him. Or he may be insecure, feeling like if he doesn't do all these things for her, Delicious might be taken by somebody else because there are other men that will find her attractive. Or he can also feel like because he's having to provide for her and live this lifestyle, it may be taken away from the energy he might have to just calm down and just fuck her. So there's different things going on. But at the end of the day, it's almost like Raymond is saying that she's the one who's to hold responsible. Then he brings up her strong dominance as also a pause for concern, and how she tends to take charge. She says what she wants to say. She means what she says. If she wants something, she wants it. She explains how she wants it. My husband appreciates that side of me. If I don't like something, I don't like something. If I want you to do me this way, I want you to do me this way. If I want you to eat my ass or whatever it is I want you to eat, I'm going to tell you to eat that. If I want you to stick your penis in every hole I have, I'm going to tell you that. But some men would rather be the one to take charge, and it seems, or to take the lead all the time. And it might kind of knock their ego down because they may feel like they're not doing it correctly, or they're not doing it the way you want it, that you have to guide them or teach them. I don't know. It's kind of a slippery slope in this situation. But he also lets us know that he's been married before. He has a 17-year-old daughter. The marriage didn't work out, obviously, because now he's married to Delicious. So it's not like Delicious is the first person he's been with since he's been out the pen. So it's not like he don't know what to do, or he doesn't know how to, be with a girl. It's just Delicious is a different type of girl. And I think it's intimidation. Then we get to the comic relief from Michael Blackson, the mother sucker. So before the comic relief segment starts, Ray is drunk, but Princess is happy that she, if he's drunk and happy, she's drunk and happy. So far as he's drunk and happy in the bed with her and not in the bed or in a hotel room with another person, she can handle it. Then Ray J makes this dumbass speech about love because he's drunk, but then he goes to talk to Kirk. And he says some dumbass shit like Kirk is a good person to be a guide for him with his marriage because Kirk has been through a lot. And I'm wondering, Ray J's IQ is baffling to me sometimes when he says stuff like this, because I'm thinking, I don't understand how you can see what has occurred on national television between Rashida and Kirk, and heard some of the shit that he said during the sessions with AJ in the last 3 episodes. Well, if your ass was there. And now fix your mouth to say that Kirk is the person that you'll want to give you marital advice. Kirk is the last person on this earth. I don't care if he's the last man or the last couple for me to go and ask for advice on my relationship. Y'all got me fucked up. Then, in the midst of him having a conversation with his so-called mentor, Kirk decides to bring up the lingerie situation from the first episode, saying that Ray J had found lingerie inside, I think, Princess's purse or bag, whatever, and he's trying to figure out who the hell she brought that lingerie for. Is it possible that she was hopeful that you guys would get back to a good place and she'll wear that lingerie for you, Ray? Or is Kirk now putting it in your head and y'all having this ridiculous, dramatic nonsense saying that she brought the lingerie in a couple's retreat for another man? That shit don't even make no damn sense. So Kirk brings it up, and Ray J decides to do some little toast shit about, and say something like, all these men out there that are trying to get our wives, we're not gonna let you. It was just dumb. But in addition to that, Ray J also says some shit like Princess wanted him to freeze his eggs. Ray J, men don't have eggs, bruh. Y'all have sperm. But I just don't, that entire conversation was just stupid. Then we had Michael Blackson come on the stage to perform. And he has been given ample ammunition to do his show. He's been paying attention to everybody's drama. He's been asking questions, and y'all just lit the match, and he's just here to keep it going. He goes on AJ and Baby Boy, which is what I mentioned in my first review about AJ, loving the ride, and Baby Boy, and, getting that ass flipped and tapped by the dude who was butt ass naked making her some breakfast with his fine, sexy self at that time. I like me some buff, prees, and muscle. So, because I feel like you can just pick me up and flip me over and do whatever you want with this body, and I enjoy every bit of it. So when I saw her in that scene, petite as she was, that is the only image I have of her. So when she's sitting up here giving marital advice, it's hard to take her seriously. Michael touched on that. Then he goes in on Mendices and his big ass forehead, and Mendices in the confessional says, I don't care if he talks about my big forehead, because it's not the only thing that's big on my body. And Yandy goes, but at the same time, it brought me back to Ra Ali in the reunion. If y'all watch previous episodes talking about how Mendici has a small dick. But I haven't seen it, so I can't judge. But in his mind, he thinks it's big. That's all that matters. Now, Michael also brings up the Central Park money that Raven brought into the relationship, and how it attracted Delicious's big ass, that he has to make sure he taps in several angles as big as her ass is, and she's just bowing her head like, damn, because everybody's thinking what I'm thinking. That money makes all the difference. Then he now clowns Delicious for dating Flavor Flav, who he says that Flavor is one of the ugliest person he's ever seen. I'm thinking, Michael, you're the last person on this earth to be calling somebody ugly. And Ray J must be thinking what I'm thinking, but Ray J said they look alike, and he turns his attention to Ray J and said, Ray J, your ass discovered Kim Kardashian. And I was just like, damn, Ray J. It is not smart to argue with a comedian, because they will rip your ass apart. And you have given people many things to say about your ass, bruh. He could even go on your relationship with Princess too. Then Rada, after the performance is over, goes in the confessionals and says that she loves seeing Michael in his element, because it just turns her on. Because when she watches him as a comedian on stage, she just finds him so sexy, and she just finds him perfect, and that's why she wants to be with him. Rada is the type of person that Michael needs to be with, because she's just dumb. Only a dumb heifer would sit up there and be okay with that stupid ass arrangement that Michael is trying to get her to be okay with. And she's pregnant by him, and that's the worst part of it. You're pregnant by this person who doesn't clearly respect you, and who doesn't want to give up the fact that he wants to sleep with many women out there, and even knowing that you're carrying his child, and you're sitting up here talking about how sexy he is. I'm done. But they show the next episode, or the next episode that's supposed to happen, and it looks a little interesting. It looks like Princess and Ray J are going to talk about him possibly sleeping with several, hoes while they were on a break. Kirk is going to have his moment. Michael's going to have his moment with Rada. Delicious and Raymond are going to have a very strong, serious talk about her dominance and it affecting his ability to really be a man in the relationship. And she's going to have to deal with the fact that she may not be with the type of man who's strong enough to handle some of that. And in order for her to stay married to him, she might have to dim some of her light, because that's what she chose. So that's where we're at on that one. So that was that episode. This episode to me was cool. It was okay. It wasn't the best. I feel like VH1 need to go on and bring back the Love and Hip Hop shows, because that drama usually is lit for me and I can talk about it and it's interesting. I'm gonna be reviewing Thursday's Growing Up Hip Hop that's starting, and it's gonna be crazy because TT and you know, all that little mess is going on. Looks like it's gonna be good. But I'm gonna do my Marriage to Medicine review, so y'all can go ahead and catch that next.